Yo, welcome back to another video. Getting started in photography can be tough, so I've put together 5 useful tips for every beginner photographer. Let's go. Point 1 is something that I say to everyone, whether or not we're talking about photography, music, or even just life in general, and that's don't worry what other people think you look like. Reason is, most of the time, you're actually more aware of what your body's doing than other people are. Most other people are just going about their daily business. And ultimately with photography, videography, it's the shot that matters the most. Why bother worrying about what you look like when you're taking the shot if it's going to hinder your ability to take an absolute banger shot? Now, when I first started, I was really conscious of everything that I was doing, and I would watch videos of people on the internet taking shots, and I would go, well, they look like an idiot, and then I'd go, well, actually they took a banger shot. So if they look like an idiot and they're taking a banger shot, maybe I should look like an idiot to take a banger shot. Also, as doing YouTube videos like this and vlogging, most of the videos that I started with were vlogs, I learned quite early on not to worry about what people thought of me. You're walking around with a camera out in front of you, talking to it, people are gonna look. And that can really knock your confidence, it can knock your train of thought, and you can not really come across the best way, the way that you want to portray yourself. So telling yourself that right from the outset is always handy when it comes to vlogging, when it comes to taking photos, when it's taking videos there. Make sure you're not worrying about all of those things, because chances are no one actually cares. Okay, point number 2 is clean your gear. Everyone is guilty of either not popping a lens cap on, not popping a rear cap on, not popping a body cap on. That's a really bad one, don't do that, but it happens to everyone. Get in the habit of cleaning your gear. I've just been on a trip. I haven't actually cleaned my gear yet because I've been quite busy with work, but I've just been on a trip. We went away for the day and we went to the woods. You know, it's like dust, there's, you know, dirt in the air, all that kind of stuff, and my lenses will be dirty. Like it's my 24-70, this will be dirty. This will have dirt on the lens, it will need a wipe. I can see the dust from it sitting around here for a little bit. So again, that should be cleaned prior and after use. The same with my M50, like the body might be a bit dusty. It might be handy for me to, you know, clean the eyepiece, clean the screen, because it's probably got fingerprints all over it, because, you know, you're out and about, you're eating, you're making a mess, basically. So make sure that you're in the habit of cleaning your gear. So for that, I would suggest using, bear with me, let me grab one. All right, so I would suggest using one of these bad boys. This is just a little rocket blower type thing. You just squeeze it, that's literally it. You know, you take your lens off, pop the cap on. You going to put a lens on, you undo the cap, you give both things a blow, just blow the dust off. Same with the end of the lens. That's it. That's all you have to do. I'm gonna blow some dust off that because I can see the dust coming off the light. But that's one thing. Another thing you can use, one of these little bad boys. So this has a retractable little brush. Yeah, a little brush. It's also got a little spudger on the end. I think it's called a spudger. Which is basically like almost like a lens cloth type material on the end of a pen type thing, so you can press it down. This is just a little EDC type pouch that I carry some bits and bobs in, notebook, pen, Sharpie, because when wouldn't you need a Sharpie? Sidetracked, but cleaning your gear, very helpful. Lens spots on your lenses, obviously. But spots on your lens, dust spots on your sensor, that's a big one. You think like how small a piece of dust is, when you blow it up to like the size of a screen, that one tiny piece of dust is going to be quite a fair few pixels. So get in the habit of cleaning your gear. It's going to save you heartache down the line when you're taking a banger shot and you realize you've got dust spots. Clone stamping can only do so much. Okay, next tip is to format your SD cards. And I say cards because if you don't already have multiple, go on Amazon, go local camera shop, preferably, support those. Buy more SD cards, because you should have a few, because the tried and tested way, and this is the way lots of people do it, is to keep that SD card for one specific project. Keep the files on there as a backup whilst you're working on the project. So you've copied them on say it's photos, you copied them into Lightroom as DNG, right? They're on your PC, they're on your laptop, your Mac, whatever you're using. I'm not prejudiced. Whatever you're using, they're on there, but you've got that failsafe on your SD card until you then finish that project, move them off onto an archive or whatever. Keep them on your SD cards, but afterwards, don't forget to format their SD card, because when you get 3 projects down the line and you've used both of your SD cards and you've got to go, oh, I need to put that in, and you put it in, you haven't formatted it, you are now looking at a camera that's already got 100 photos on it. And if you don't check and format that SD card, you're then going to import it into Lightroom, and you're going to have to sift through all the photos and figure out which ones you've imported and which ones you haven't, because sometimes you don't want to just import all new photos. You want to import a specific set of photos specific to a project. So format your SD cards. Do that. It's a good idea. Okay, so next tip, and I will bang on about this because people bang on about this to me, and that is that the lens is more important than the body. I have lenses that cost more than my body, not my body, my camera body. I have lenses that cost more than my camera body because that's the bit that matters. There's a reason that, you know, some cameras might have 24 megapixels or whatever, cost say £700, £700, right? But a lens also costs £700 at least. You look at some of the prime long lenses, they are going to set you back thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever, rupees you're using. But the lens is what matters. This glass right here, this is what that is what differentiates the good photos at different focal lengths, other than the photographer, obviously. Some of the key differences when it comes to lenses are things like better, more silent, quieter, autofocus, image stabilization. That's a big one. Like, you'll find older lenses, you might be able to pick them up for cheaper, but they won't have an image stabilizer on them, when sometimes that can be quite handy, unless you always shoot on tripods, in which case it can actually be a pain in the butt. Image stabilization is really handy. You'll find that the more expensive ones have weather sealing, so like these L series ones from Canon, they're all weather sealed. They, you know, they have nice little features, like this 24-70 has a macro feature on it. I love that. It's got a lock button on it, so that you put this on your camera and say you have it hanging here on like a peak design clip, then you can lock it and your barrel won't extend out like it just did, because my lock button's a bit dodgy. But that's my problem. But yeah, so some of the key differences between lenses: autofocus, stabilization, silence, optical quality kind of goes without saying. Okay then, so my final point is to learn your settings. Anyone will tell you that a good photographer can pick up any camera and capture a good photo, because they know not just how to shoot with their camera, but they know how to manipulate all their settings, whether it's picture profiles, whether it's ISO, shutter speed, aperture. They know exactly what they're doing with any camera, and that will allow you to capture a moment. Say like you're presented with this wonderful deer just prancing across an open field and you've got a great vantage point. Knowing your settings will allow you to really quickly swap to be able to still that movement, get the right ISO so it's not grainy, and make sure the entire subject is in focus at such a long distance. You know, stuff like that. Learn your settings. At the same time though, don't worry too much about manual mode. No, I pretty much use it all the time, but you can use all the other kind of priority modes like aperture priority, shutter speed priority. Use those, like they are good. If you're in a pinch, just use them. They will do the rest of the work for you if you don't want to have to think about it. If you have memory modes, my M50 doesn't have them, but if you do, like a Sony user or something, then make sure you use those modes. They can be really handy for things like 60 frames per second slow-mo, 120 slow-mo, high bit rates, high shutter speeds, all stuff like that that you might have to set manually. You can quickly flick between at the switch of a button. Also, don't be afraid to customize your menus for quick access. Something I do on my M50 is I've got a couple of menus with my most changed settings, so that when I press the menu button, they're all there. All the things that I really need to change are right in front of me. I can do whatever I want with only a few clicks without having to scroll through 7 different camera menus and 8 different setting menus just to find the format card button. All right, that is it for this video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked it. Get subscribed and like the bell to stay up to date for whenever I release a new video, which is weekly, as well as camera rumors, So 2 videos a week, that's what you get by subscribing and lighting the bell. So please do it. Leave a comment below if anything helped you. But until the next one, see ya.